Joining me on the line, as he does every Friday on the show, he's from Cinemablend.com. He's a hell of a human being. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Reyes is on the line. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Oh, B-sox, I love your introductions. Just thank you for that. Not much is going on here. How about you?
Oh, just kind of getting into the world of movies. I have a very interesting movie anniversary that I want to bring up to you here in a few minutes, but that'll be in the news section of all this. What do we got for reviews this week? I know there's a big one.
Whatever could you speak of? I mean, what big movies are coming out this weekend?
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a fast minute, and
All right, so F9's coming out. Yeah, F9's coming out this week. I remember I really liked the original one. I kind of liked the second one. The third one, that's where it starts getting hazy to me because I really, at some point, stopped. Oh, I remember I liked Tokyo Drift, and everybody was like, that movie's like and I'm like, I didn't hate it. If it didn't have the Fast and Furious title, it'd be a pretty good movie. Anyways, they all kind of blend together to me.
Okay, so I can kind of see that, especially with the era of the first four. Honestly, I was never impressed with Fast and Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious was okay, but Tokyo Drift, I remember seeing that in my girlfriend at the time and I were on a vacation.
Yeah,
and I remember seeing that in the hotel, and that's really where my love for Fast and Furious started. And then what really clamped it down was a buddy of mine from my hometown. It was around the time Fast 5 was coming out. He's like, dude, we're gonna watch the first four and we're gonna go see Fast 5. So watched the first four and it was like, okay, yeah, I can kind of dig this. Fast 5 just blew my brain open, and since then I've definitely been along for the ride. Tokyo Drift always gets an unfair shaft, except people need to realize that's where Han comes from, and everybody loves Han. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah. And like I said, the first couple movies, I didn't mind, but once they started getting into the realm of they're like these super crook spies, and I don't know why, but the movies kind of started melding together to me, and I don't know which one was the last one I saw, and of the whatever the third to whatever that last one I saw was, I couldn't tell you anything about any one of them, except that they drove some cars.
It kind of has become part spy thriller, part soap opera, part wrestling.
Yeah. It really is.
I kind of love it for that.
Oh, that's good. Okay, we get it. I'm not a giant fan of it. I don't know a ton about it. How is F9?
F9 is actually pretty damn good. Coming out of Fate of the Furious, I really felt like the series was kind of going in a downturn because that movie just it was okay, but it really felt like it lost some of the fun, shifting to another director, because Justin Lin hasn't been part of the series since Fast 6. Furious 7 was awesome with James Wan at the wheel, and that was like the last Fast movie I remember really liking.
Real quick, okay. What one? Which one was the one that Paul was his last appearance?
Furious 7.
See, I think that I remember seeing the end of that, and I'm thinking that's a great way to just finish this series.
If they really wanted to, it would have been. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was a real emotional moment watching that in the theater, and just even if you weren't intimately familiar with the work, you knew what happened in real life, and that was just the ultimate tissue moment. I mean, if they really wanted to end it at that moment, no one would have blamed them. But it was really popular and really successful, and how do you deny the public its mania? So here we are at the 8th sequel of a planned, apparently 10 or 11 part franchise, because they may split Fast 10 into 2 movies. But Justin Lin coming back is one of the best things to happen to this franchise, because he, ever since Tokyo Drift, it's been his franchise except for 7 and 8, and he just knows these characters. He knows his way around an action set piece, and it's just beautiful to see that come back to the screen. And Charlize Theron's villain, Cypher, she is so much better in this one. I kind of was really cold to her character in Fate of the Furious. She just gets to be a full Loki Bond villain in captivity in this movie, and it makes me happy.
All right, so it's a good movie. If you're a Fast fan, you're going to like it, right?
Yep, and for everybody but B-sox, if you want to go to see this film in IMAX tonight, you get 5 minutes of Jurassic World Dominion.
You will not let that Jurassic World stuff go, will you?
No, because that's probably I no.
Okay.
No.
All right. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies and such. What's the next movie on the list?
So we have a new Netflix movie this weekend, The Ice Road, starring Liam Neeson, Lawrence Fishburne, and Amber Midthunder from Roswell, New Mexico. The show Roswell, New Mexico. She's not from Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is kind of in the world of the reality show, The Ice Road Truckers, right?
Kind of. See, the whole thing is, what I find really interesting is the writer-director of this film, Jonathan Henslick. He was a writer on Armageddon. And this kind of feels like Armageddon, but not on an asteroid and condensed into under 2 hours. Because basically what happens is there's a collapse in a Canadian diamond mine. Lawrence Fishburne has to hire a crew because the clock's ticking, and they got to deliver drilling equipment up to this mine so they can, save the miners.
Yeah.
And one of the people that gets hired is Liam Neeson, who drifts from job to job because he's taking care of his brother who suffers from PTSD.
How is it?
It's boring. And it's not any of the... I have to stress that it really isn't the actor's fault, because you've got a great cast in this. You've got Lawrence Fishburne, Liam Neeson, Benjamin Walker's in this.
Yeah.
You've got really good actors. And Amber Midthunder, I've never seen her in anything before, but she's supposedly going to be the lead of the new Predator movie. And I'm thrilled for that after seeing what she does in here.
Okay.
But having really good actors doesn't overcome the fact that the story is just very dry. It wants to be pseudo conspiracy thriller. It wants to be like an action adventure in the nature. It doesn't know how to get to where it wants to go. And
you know what's funny?
This is under 2 hours.
You know what's funny about that? How many movies out there falter because they don't know what they want to be? Are you a comedy? Are you an action film? Are you this? Are you that?
I swear, whenever I say it, I feel like I'm a broken record, but it really does happen more often than people think. It's I get that you want to combine these sorts of movies together, and this has been done before. This definitely has been done. I mean, you look at Armageddon, it combined those sorts of things. You look at Aliens. This almost feels like it took some cues from Aliens, but there's no extraterrestrials, and Liam Neeson's not, wielding a flamethrower.
All right. Okay, so it's boring. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it, if you're a big Liam Neeson fan. Okay. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me to talk about movies. I don't think we need to beat it to death, right?
If you like Ice and Liam Neeson, go watch it.
Okay, cool. Moving on to the world of and there was another movie out there, but you haven't seen it. Let's just mention the name because it's supposed to be kind of a Rosemary's Baby type thing. It's got James Bond, right?
Yes, technically you're right. You got Pierce Brosnan.
That too.
One of the many James Bonds, and apparently a very popular James Bond with our readers at Cinemablend. You have Pierce Brosnan playing I'm trying to think of he's basically plays a doctor that's helping this family with their, having their first child.
Okay.
He's a fertility specialist, and he's playing against Justin Theroux and why am I blanking on the name right now? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right. You didn't see it, but are you hearing anything about it? Good, bad, indifferent?
I really haven't heard much about it.
Okay.
Except that, like you said, people are saying it's kind of like a modern Rosemary's Baby. Alana Glazer from Broad City. That's who I was thinking of.
Okay. Cool. All right, we'll just leave that one there. I really want to get the news this week because there's a couple really cool things in here. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line this week. Moving over to the world of movie news. What's the big story?
Well, we did kind of get some big news for Transformers fans this week. Because,
okay, here we go.
Is that what you wanted? Is that what you were waiting for?
No, I really wanted to know what the big story was this week. The Transformers thing. Okay, we found out that the next movie is going to be Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and it's going to be kind of into the world of Beast Wars. And the same thing I told one of my buddies that actually sent this to me. I'll say to you, I want to be excited about it, but I just can't. I'll go see it and stuff. Yeah, I was such a huge Transformers fan growing up. When we went and saw the very first one, it was like me and two other buddies, and I was completely engrossed in that movie just because it was Transformers.
Yeah.
And hearing Peter Cullen and and all that. Everybody wants, to complain about, the Decepticons didn't look right and all this. It's like, whatever. It was a Transformers movie, and Optimus Prime was in it. You want to be excited about the second one. It was like, and then the third one, it's like, and then they start messing around with like Hot Rod and all this other stuff, and you're just like, why are you killing this? Mike, why can't you just do it right? Bumblebee was pretty good. I will say that. I didn't hate Bumblebee, and I love that they put it like the Transformers and the Decepticons like looked like they were supposed to.
Oh, I hated Bumblebee.
Really? You hated it?
I felt like it was an extended sitcom, and it really wanted to be an Amblin 80s movie.
Yeah.
So much that the kids over at Stranger Things are like, wow, and you thought we tried hard. But I've never been like an over the moon fan of Transformers. Like I'm not like, I was okay with them as a kid, but I've wanted to be excited because the concepts that they've shown, like all this secret history between Decepticons and Autobots and humans, like there's been really good hooks. Like, holy crap, there's Transformers on the moon. Oh wow, there's dinosaur Transformers. Like, there's really cool. Like, Anthony Hopkins is somehow wound up with the Transformers. Like, there's been really great concepts, really cool cast members. I've just kind of been really cold with most of them. But
where I think it really started to go downhill was in the second one where they killed Optimus Prime for no reason and then brought him back.
Oh, they did it because Transformers the movie. We got to do it because. Yeah.
I think that was one of those things where if you do that down the line and you have like a movie or two where you don't have Optimus Prime in it, and then you bring him back, that's a much bigger deal. To me, it was the same thing as you wasted Doomsday in the Justice League movie or in the Batman vs. Superman movie. Like, you didn't need to do that right then. That's just my thought with it.
Yeah, I agreed with that up until I saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the way that he told his story in there made it make more sense. But anyway, Transformers, I got to virtually attend a press conference for Paramount, which revealed the title, and they showed us concept art of some of the characters that are coming in, like Optimus Primal.
Yep.
Also, Optimus Prime coming back in his G1 paint scheme. We got to hear from producer Lorenzo de Bonaventura and director Stephen Caple Jr., who last directed Creed 2. And that's part of why I'm excited for this, because he is a huge fan, and he talked about how he wanted to go a specific place with this movie, set in 1994 New York, and we're going to have Dominic Fishback from Judas and the Black Messiah and Anthony Ramos from In the Heights as our human leads. But then they're also going to Peru and actually filming at Machu Picchu.
Okay.
Which I think might be first or just a rare thing for any movie to do.
Real quick, just to throw something in. The only thing I don't understand about the Transformers series, okay, is this all one story, one continuity, or what's going on? Because that's what I kind of thought about Bumblebee. It's like, it's kind of in the continuity, but kind of not. Does that make sense?
See, that's why I think they're playing around with time a lot.
Okay.
Because you've got Bumblebee's in the 80s, this is in the 90s. I think they're really trying to give themselves as much room as possible, because the whole thing about Transformers is, well, up until Shia LaBeouf comes into the picture, they were secret anyway. So a lot of this stuff could probably just be covered up and we wouldn't have known about it, blah, 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 blah.
But
like
they
can kind of have their cake and eat it too.
It's one of those, it's like, you saw the Transformers arrive in the first one, Yeah,
but some of them have also been buried on Earth for like a long time.
Yeah, but no, I'm just like Optimus Prime in them. It's just like, that's when he showed up. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So did it look cool?
From the little glimpses they showed us, it did look cool.
Okay.
Like they only showed us concept art of some of the bots that are going to be in there. Like I know RC's coming back. I mentioned Optimus Primal. There's like 3 Beast War characters they mentioned specifically. And on top of that, Peter Cullen is coming back as Optimus Prime. And this is going to be Optimus's sort of origin story as how he becomes the leader we know him as today.
Oh, that's interesting, because Optimus Primal, if I remember right from the series, was actually a descendant of Optimus Prime. And they got shot back in time. And they were actually on Earth, and there was a couple episodes where they're actually in the Ark and you see like Optimus's, dead body at the time.
Well, we still don't know who's voicing any of the beasts. Like the only voice they really revealed was that Peter Cullen was coming back. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he was in Bumblebee, but
I think
maybe he was for a little while, but he wasn't a major character.
No, he wasn't a major character. It was like in the opening scene, it was like, well, Bumblebee, blah 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 blah. Yeah, he was in it.
That opening scene was what really excited me with Bumblebee. It's like, okay, cool. Can you give me a movie about the war on Cybertron instead of just giving me flashbacks or backstory? Can you just watch this, please?
Have you watched that series on Netflix, like War for Cybertron or something?
But I am planning on watching it because I just, obviously in my line of work, backlog is a very easy thing to accrue. And that is something I've definitely been meaning to watch just because it interests me to watch this society and its downfall.
It's really, really cool. It's really like Megatron is like badass, man, and you fear him. It's not like the comic version where it's in the TV series or all this. I mean, he's like a bad dude in it, but he's bad in a way where it's like you kind of understand why he's bad. It's a really good watch. So, anyways, the reason I did want to talk about this. So the reason I really wanted to talk about this was because yesterday was actually a really, really interesting Transformers anniversary for me.
Oh, I see a story coming on.
That was the 12-year anniversary of when I went to the Science Center here in Des Moines and watched Transformers Revenge of the Fallen 8 times in 24 hours.
What? Why?
It was a radio promotion we were doing with the Science Center, and I started at midnight, like right when it was able to come out, and I watched Transformers Revenge of the Fallen in IMAX 8 times in a row. And when I say 8 times in a row, I mean 8 times in a row.
Yeah, popcorn was your meal for the day.
Well, they actually had a really cool concession stand, and I remember them having like these Italian sandwiches that I kept eating. But yeah, by about the 5th watch, you're like, oh God.
Oh, the first watch I was like that. Kind of fun. Was it the day of release you watched it?
Yes.
Okay, so that means that on that same day, I went to the King of Prussia IMAX to watch that movie with my friend Kyle.
Yeah.
Because we took a day trip out to Pennsylvania from Jersey. We went to this old school theme park called Knoebels, and I ended up losing my glasses on the last ride of the day. So we had to go out to Lens Crafters at the mall at the last minute. I had to get a new pair of glasses, and then I got them in the nick of time before we went and watched the movie.
Oh, that's funny. That's good. But yeah, how I rewarded myself for that?
You watched it a 9th time?
No, I went to Walmart the next day after I slept a little bit, and I bought the really complex, cool Optimus Prime action figure, and I still have it.
This movie has scarred me. Let me buy its merchandise.
You know what? There are obviously parts of that movie that suck, and
IMAX sucked on it.
What's that?
The IMAX sucked on it because it felt like they were just hitting a button that was like IMAX, not IMAX, IMAX, not IMAX, and some scenes you've got the screen at opening and closing its focus, and it was just so distracting.
Yeah, It's one of those ones where it's like, boy, it's right next to being a good story.
It's right.
I could fix that movie pretty easily.
I can fix him.
But like I said, I think they wasted the Optimus Prime death in it. I really do. And
they absolutely did.
And I think
for the third movie.
And I think, what's that?
You could have saved that for the third movie, or left him dead and then bring him back in the third. Have some stakes at least.
Yeah,
Not just, we're going to bring him back at the end anyway.
And the part that really bothered me about it, when they're bringing the soldiers' bodies home at the end, they're being real respectful of everything, right? And then they bring Optimus Prime's body and they just dump it out of the back of a helicopter or something. Excuse me. And it just crashed. It's like, here's your leader's dead body. It's like, thanks for being so nice to it, Anyway.
You Transformers.
But the whole series, and I know we're getting long in the tooth here, but Age of Extinction,
waste some really good actors too.
Yeah, Dark of the Moon was kind of interesting. Age of Extinction, I didn't hate Age of Extinction. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And last night, I just think they wasted so much.
He wasted Anthony Hopkins with a homicidal Jim Carter from Downton Abbey as his robot butler.
Yeah.
And
Cogman.
Then don't even get me started on Age of Extinction having that creepy Romeo and Juliet law scene.
I was mad they messed up Hot Rod because he was always a favorite of mine from the original movie when they did kill Optimus Prime and they did it right. So anyways, was there any other movie news this week? Anything big or anything really quick?
I'm trying to think just because we really did go off on a Transformers tear here.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Did you watch Loki?
What's that?
Did you watch Loki?
Yes, I did, and I couldn't ask my wife because she doesn't watch the other show. It had a very Rick and Morty vibe to it, right?
I feel like it has a very kind of Rick and Morty, kind of Doctor Who. And if I'm not mistaken, Michael Waldron, I think he's credited as the show creator, and he's one of the higher ups on the show. I believe he's from the Rick and Morty room.
Yeah, the head writer is an ex-writer for Rick and Morty. He also completely rewrote Doctor Strange 2 for Raimi, according to one of my other buddies. Because I put this up on Facebook.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another one of my buddies said it's more a Legends of Tomorrow vibe for him. But I just thought him saying...
I never really got into Legends of Tomorrow.
I just thought that it had a very Rick and Morty vibe where they're portaling into a place. The portal gun gets broke, which happens. Loki's talking to him about what kind of Loki you are, as if there's an infinite number of them. And I liked, don't get me wrong, I liked it. I thought it was fun, but I don't think she's a Loki.
I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know. They've been setting Sylvie up as a Loki variant.
Yeah.
She definitely talks and acts like one. And I mean, we'll find out. I mean, this seems to be one of those environments where we're being told do not trust everything at face value.
I think she's the Enchantress.
Can turn on a dime. There's going to be betrayal. Some people say she's the Enchantress, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying that.
I think there's enough there, but I did like, and I will say it real quick. Oh, and real quick about Enchantress, if you look like just her up on Google, like when you look at the images, there's a lot of green involved. So that kind of plays into maybe it's Loki because it's green, you know? But yeah. Two things, actually, real quick. I like how they bring out the Asgardian in Loki out a little bit more, where he's like singing and drinking and, fighting like, Thor and them would. Actually, three things.
And he does Thor's another.
Yeah. Second, I was really, really hoping that when he was asking her about a love interest, she was going to say Thor, just to get that look on his face. I think that would have been hilarious. And three, part of me was wondering, did one of the other ones enchant them? And this whole thing is... You know how she was talking about taking over somebody's mind to get information?
Yeah.
Was this episode an enchantment? Because
that is a really good question.
Because at one point he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So did that become the enchantment there, and they're trying to get information about where either how do I use this machine, or how do I fix it, or how do I do whatever, or,
Or someone may have enchanted Loki on behalf of the TVA, and this whole mystery is just a way to get through his head.
Yeah, so you like it though, right?
Also, another good question. What happened?
Oh, I just was saying you liked it, right?
Oh, I really like this show.
Okay, cool.
And I'm withholding my total love for it just because I know how Marvel TV has gone in the past. But this does bring up another really good question that we may be able to end on.
Okay.
Is the new Jane actually Jane Foster, or is she a variant from another multiverse? Because Phase 4 seems to be this whole multiversal thing, and that seems to me like the best way to introduce Lady Thor through Jane.
That's a good point.
This may not be the 616 Jane that we know and love. This may be a different Jane, and that's how she's come to have Thor's powers, because how the hell do you have Thor and Lady Thor in the same universe?
And besides, Mjolnir is destroyed in ours. So real quick, you just reminded me of something. Oh, two things you reminded me of. You know how at the end of the episode she goes, they're all variants. Yeah, she used to have a life. She liked margaritas, right?
Yeah.
My wife goes, that's why he likes jet skis.
Oh.
Owen Wilson,
Yeah.
How he was talking about how he loved...
He's a human that just kind of got snatched into the TVA.
Yeah, but the other thing about it was, and I wanted to bring it up quick, did you hear the thing about the date of the second episode?
Yeah, and unless they really shifted their schedule to just be on Wednesdays just to pull that off, I don't buy it.
About the 616 thing?
Yeah, I think that that is a lot of pieces that need to move for that.
But here, real quick, I mean, an episode where they shatter the timeline into all these different, quote unquote universes, and it's done on 616, the main continuity of the Marvel universe. If they did it, that's awesome. That's high level thinking,
I guess. That's just as simple as you got a calendar and a stack of comic books in front of you. It's like, what can I do to please the fans today?
You know what?
Oh, yes, June 16th, delicious.
I'm A-okay with that fan service. If they did it just because of that, that's awesome.
I guess they've done worse things for fan service in the Marvel universe.
Well, I mean, think about it like this. I mean, as much as I love, Star Trek and Picard, them trying to turn First Contact Day into their own holiday. I mean, you could kind of look at it like that. It's not far off the lines of, 616. That's the main continuity. I mean, I don't think that's a far reach.
It's different when you're going with like, hey, this happened on this day in history. Let's make it a thing versus, yeah, let's totally just, pull this out of our rears because fans.
Okay, what if in the future, if they did do, hey, we're just going to start saying June 16th, 616 is going to be a real big fan thing that we're going to release trailers and do all that kind of stuff on. Would you hate it then?
Probably.
Because, I mean, tell me how that's different than the fictional Picard Day or, First Contact Day.
Because those were actual dates that they picked and wrote into the canon versus, oh, cool, we've got a dimension number. We can really easily gin something up out of that.
Yeah, but it's
if you want to go with the day that Iron Man opened, or if you want to go with, like, the day that Tony Stark came back, like, you want to go with a date on the calendar that maps up to that, yeah, that's really cool. But this just feels like a slight stretch.
Wow, I don't think it's a stretch at all. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I really thought you'd agree with me on that, but well, you.
Well, I guess that's about all the time we have for today, unless you want to talk about something else that doesn't hit comic books or Transformers.
Okay. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every Friday on the show to just talk about whatever. You can find out more about him. I'm messing with you. We'll have all your social links and podcast links over at the website, kggo.com. Mike, you have a good weekend.
You too, man.